Hello, everyone. This is Alan from MysteryMTG.com and Mystery Cards and Games. And as you can tell by the title, I am super excited to announce that we are an official play partner and an authorized retailer for Disney Lorcana, which we were really excited for, really hoping that we would get it, and we finally got the word that we would get it. So people are a little bit confused, and I think they're confused because we are so heavily into Magic the Gathering that they're like, why are you even interested in Lorcana? You're obviously killing it with Magic, and I will say that, in my opinion, Lorcana goes hand in hand with Magic. I think it is a competitor to Pokemon, but for Magic, it is kind of the gateway for people to get into Magic because, in the same way that Magic released with Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Revised, and you notice that for things like Exodus, right, those are the advanced sets. Lorcana is going in the same direction here. And the first edition is going to be more basic, and it'll get more complex as it goes by. And they're starting off with a really strong, noticeably strong focus on retail partners. This makes me super excited. A company that finally understands that supporting game stores and making sure that organized play is the foundation of their game rather than focusing on pumping up a secondary market is absolutely massive. So the stores that I've seen get approved are really big stores, really good stores, and I think it's going to be an awesome release. As long as the product gets out, the quality is fine. Of course, there are going to be quality assurance issues for a first edition product. That is expected. As long as those things are fine, I think Lorcana will have a very strong release. Now, I've noticed there are both young and old individuals who are super passionate about Lorcana already. And from my perspective, that's a really good thing. You need some of the older players to have interest in it, and that will drive a nice, healthy secondary market, and a lot of collectors will jump in. But you also need the youth leagues and whatever sort of organized play events. So, as a retail partner, we are going to get a 12-week OP kit. So, for organized play, we'll have promos, etc. And I think they are going to do the Magic thing. There are going to be some super rare cards that you can go out and get as promos during these tournaments. And I will be honest, it doesn't make sense to not buy as many first edition boxes for this game as you can. I think we will all look back and say, well, I wish I held on to like 15 or 20 of those because it might make you filthy rich in the future. If Lorcana is truly backed by Disney, which looks like they're doing here, it looks like they're actually, they had a lot of buzz. They kind of went quiet, which was good, right? Don't feed into it without having something there. And I think they understood that they were really wanting to focus on getting the retail partners set up and then pushing more on the marketing side. So Ravensburger, Disney, so far, I think that they've been doing a good job. I think the upper deck issue might be something. I'm not even going to talk about that because that's their matter and it's probably going to get settled outside of court. So not really good to drive rumors and whatever else. But, overall, just looking at the release, looking at the potential for them to really shock people by making sure supply is there. And for them to be so direct and very friendly with the retail partners, this is something that Bandai and the Pokemon Group and Konami have failed at. These other game companies have absolutely failed. Flesh and Blood too. Why did they fail? Why are they so bad? It's because there are stores like mine and other stores that I know of that were kind of interested in Flesh and Blood, and we talked about it, and we said, well, they didn't have any retailer kits anymore, and they weren't supporting us in any way. We signed up, and that was it. For WotC, for Wizards of the Coast, one of the best game companies to partner with as a game store, you get promos, you sign up, you have a representative you talk to. I know that's super expensive. I know it's hard to do for a game company, but Flesh and Blood kind of held literally did nothing for us, and which was a shame because we had 30 to 40 people who were willing to play every week, and we just didn't really have much to show, and all the Magic players were coming, and we had promos and prizes for them, and we were packed with Magic, Final Fantasy, and other TCGs, and Flesh and Blood eventually died because we just didn't really get much from the game that runs it. I forget what they're called, which is bad. I hate the fact that, is it Game Art? Not Game Armory. Ugh, what is the name? Legendary Studios, right? Is it? That's it. Pretty sure that's it. Anyway, I really do think that Disney Lorcana as long as they do what they say they're going to do, is going to have an absolutely insane start. And as a game store owner, as someone who is in the seven-figure range for revenue with a game store, right? Which is not it's a pretty good feat for a business that the average unit that we sell is like $60. So to get to the seven-figure mark, you are selling a lot of product, which we do sell a lot of product. And it's a good thing. I think Disney Lorcana, I'm very excited, I'm very motivated. It's 2 a.m. here, so I have a shit ton of thoughts that I cannot communicate because I'm so tired. But I want to make this video while I'm still feeling the adrenaline from getting the partner. And I know some people are saying, well, it seems like a lot of stores got the partner. Well, they should, right? Don't be gatekeeping. Don't gatekeep. Disney Lorcana should have a massive start. It needs to have that massive start. What happens when you start saying, in a WP and premium-esque sort of way, that only a few really, really good stores should be able to be authorized retailers for this game, is that no one's going to be able to get the product, prices are going to soar, and it's going to have that effect of the One Piece effect, as I like to call it, where everyone wanted to get in the game, everyone wanted to buy in and play, and no one could because the product just wasn't there at MSRP anymore. You have to shock the system with supply if you anticipate an incredible amount of demand, because you want the scalpers to get screwed. You do not want people to go out there and buy all these boxes or whatever. And we're having to charge more because it's just that there is no real MSRP anymore, given the fact the demand is just so crazy. Essentially, as a game store, everyone asks you to charge MSRP, but when you do, it is automatically purchased and you're bought out, and they resell it online for $300 a box. As a game store owner, and for any retailer out there, you give your locals and the people who come to your tournaments dibs on reasonably priced product or MSRP, and online you charge market rate. That is what it should be, and I'm sorry, but don't think that retailers have to abide by some sort of rule when we know that you're just going to buy it from us and then flip it. There is no set price. Like, for example, there are some businesses that will say you cannot sell anything above MSRP. Rolex, for example, for watches. If you're an authorized retailer, you have to sell it at the RRP, the Rolex retail price. Now, for something like Disney Lorcana or Magic, you basically can charge whatever you think is fair. There is no real MSRP. Lorcana might be different, and if it is different, every store will have to abide by those rules. That's what I love. Lorcana is really giving me the WotC vibe, which is, if Ravensburger can do it, then I will be very happy and very proud. So we'll get the organized play kit that should last us around 3 months, and I think after that, same thing. You just keep getting play kits. You might have to re-update your application. Who knows what they'll end up doing? I'd imagine it's similar to becoming a WPN. And I just think this is going to be a really good gateway for people to get into Magic the Gathering and maybe keep playing Disney Lorcana, but also the mechanics are similar, and it'll just get kids, young adults, even some adults into TCGs. And as someone who plays Magic the Gathering every day, every week for the past God knows how many years, I want Lorcana to succeed to help Magic succeed. And I know Magic is at its peak popularity right now, and the Lord of the Rings set has absolutely smashed expectations. That's fine, but I don't want this to be the tippy top. I want this to be a continuous rise, and I think it's very good for the general population to be interested in a trading card game, a tabletop game, where they have to go build a deck, come out with a deck, come to a tournament, play for prizing, get to know people, talk to people, get into heated conversations, get into arguments, have a really fun experiences with other people, with strangers that they would have never talked to. Experience life at a game store. That is what game stores are now the forefront of actual socialization, because everywhere else, the skating rinks are gone. A lot of the other places that we used to socialize at are gone. And the last thing left, I feel, in many ways, is the game store for a lot of kids and teenagers out there. And I know for our game store, we have a very high average age. It's probably mid-30s is probably the average age, low to mid-30s. And I want to expand the play space at this point for Lorcana, and I want to make a youth league center in our store so that we have a dedicated space for young people to come and play. And this is going to be super important. I think it's, I think a lot of people are battling isolation, and something like Lorcana might be the game where, Magic, there are stuff like Dark Ritual and other cards that some people feel weird about because whatever religious reasons or whatever you want to say. But Lorcana is kind of one of those games where you can't really argue against it. It's Mickey Mouse, it's Frozen, it's whatever. And hey, let's go play this card game. You can bring your 4-year-old, you can bring your 8-year-old, you can bring your 12-year-old, and I have a bunch of decks for it. Let's get into it. Oh, their parents strict, that doesn't matter. It's just Disney. It's Disney IP, Mandalorian, whatever else, right? So it's going to be really cool, guys. Anyway, that is my opinion. We are investing heavily into the game. Once again, we are super excited to be a retail partner, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how things go in August and beyond. I hope it does very well. I really do. And I want to look back on this video and say, thank God we jumped on early and that we were able to push this thing to success. Every single game that releases that is a trading card game that needs organized play relies on game stores, not on Amazon, not on Walmart, not on anything else, but they rely on game stores to help support their trading card game and to make it successful. Organized play is integral, and sometimes people forget about that, and the game companies that do forget about that, I think, pay for it in the long run. A lot of these other games are starting to really decline, and it's because they just don't understand the importance of creating new game store connections or having a robust retail partner program. Lorcana is doing it the right way. They really are. So we'll see what happens. Alan from MysteryMTG.com. If you need pre-orders for Lorcana, go on our website. I know we're sold out of a lot. We did open up a little bit more supply. We are going to get guaranteed allocation because of being a retail partner for Lorcana. We will purchase as much as we can of Lorcana just to help support the TCG and to make sure we have enough for the people coming into our store. We've also been very lucky to communicate with some of the people on the Lorcana team. And we will continue that communication and invite some of them from Austin to Dallas to come play at our store and to check out the new setup for Lorcana that we'll have. Magic is still our bread and butter. Magic is still the thing that I love. I probably will not be out there playing Lorcana every day. I'm still going to be playing Magic, but I want Lorcana to be that thing that, hey, your kid might not be old enough for Magic. Maybe they're 6 years old and you don't want to introduce them to all this, war and battle, whatever it is, right? Well, we have Disney Lorcana, and this is going to be a really great way for the next couple of years for you to play and then maybe get into Magic, right? When he's ready or when she's ready. So, Alan from MysteryMTG.com, that's all I have to say. Super excited, and I hope you're excited too. MysteryMTG.com, bye-bye.